Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Who is that?
This is Damayanti Devi Dasi. I just wanted to see if I was muted. So could you mute me? I'm calling in on my phone.
Okay, I mute you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. And today we have a appearance day of Lord Advaita Acharya. With
Is the recording on?
No.
You
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
It's on. Good.
It's on. Appearance day of Lord Advaita Acharya, and he is one of the members of the Panchatattva. And as we were reading today morning, he is the principal cause of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. So Lord Chaitanya has many reasons to descend, and they are all described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he has like five reasons. And actually Advaita Acharya is not one of them. So it's a sixth reason, but so Lord Chaitanya has 5 reasons, and 3 of them are very personal reasons, and 2 of them are more external reasons. So let's see if we can put them together. So he wants to. So Lord Chaitanya is.
Should we start with Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya?
Well, yeah, I wanted to make a little intro and then read.
Preface.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so 3 Krishna's internal reasons. So Lord Chaitanya is combination of Krishna and Radharani. Krishna in Radharani's mood. And Namo Mahavadhanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namegora Visenama. We all know this mantra from Chaitanya Charitamrita that we use when we offer Bhoga to the Lord. And that's Radha, Krishna, the Lord, Namo Mahavadhanaya, the most merciful incarnation of the Lord. So Krishna has this reason to come back. Actually, 1 out of the 5 reasons is that 5,000 years ago, Krishna appears on Mother Earth. He's actually invited by Mother Earth to come. She would be the same principal reason. Like now in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Advaita Acharya is the principal reason. It's the one who calls the Lord, the devotee who calls for the Lord. So Mother Bhumi is one who starts the chain of calling for the Lord. She goes to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma goes to Vishnu for protection of the Lord.
I like that connection.
Actually, I got it yesterday from Parampara Prabhu because I asked him, you know something about Lord Advaita that I could say tomorrow at the class? So I will not take ownership of that. But yeah, it's a nice connection. So Lord Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, and he manifested his pastimes. Like he came to fulfill the request of Mother Bhumi, which culminated in the Battle of Kurukshetra, because she was overburdened by the military force. But also Krishna fulfilled another reasons, and one of them was to show how fun it is to participate in his pastimes. And so Krishna did that and left the planet. And then he thought to himself, well, I forgot to tell them how to do it, how to get to that platform that they can actually participate in my pastimes again. So in that moment that he realizes it, he decides to reappear, and that's about 4,500 years later. And of course, like a king wouldn't like appear before everything is arranged for him very nicely. Yeah, so the king sends first all different, people who will arrange that the path is like smooth and beautifully decorated with flowers, and it is arranged that he's like very well received and welcomed by people who are favorable to him. So Krishna, when he decides, he like arranges. So first who comes from, of course, like first comes the generation that he like needs, the generation older that, or even 2 generations older or whatever. Actually, don't know the grandparents of Lord Chaitanya. Do we know them?
A little bit, yeah. Mother Sachi's father is Nilambar Chakrabarti, who was a great astrologer, and he did an astrological reading. So we know that.
So Nilambara Chakravarti is grandfather from mother's side of Lord Chaitanya. Okay, so so there is like an arrangement that the Lord is welcomed. So the first, it's probably more generations than just one, but we know a lot about the generation before Lord Chaitanya, and that's of course his parents, Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra, and Lord Advaita Acharya. He's one generation older, and he's coming to take the service of the principal reason of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. And he is going to call for the Lord. And so the Lord, he wants to appear from himself. He has the three reasons. And that's like, I love Radharani, but she loves me more. Not fair. I want to experience so much love as she's experiencing. Which is interesting. When I see the love that Radharani is experiencing, I'm like, no, thank you. But Lord Krishna wants, he is like, he's also Ananda Buddhivardhanam, so his nature also is constantly expand. So he wants to expand in the love of Srimati Radharani. He also is like, well, what is so cool about me that Radharani loves me so much? So he kind of wants to see himself from her eyes. And what would the third one?
To experience her happiness.
Oh, and he wants to experience her happiness in the love for him. And then he has two external reasons, and that would be to take care, to have fun and please his devotees, and also to transform the hearts of the non-devotees. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, related, like external, as you said. Krishna, and the external reasons to please the devotees, and like especially devotees like Sri Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur, who specifically called for him. And then out of compassion to save us, and specifically to spread the name of Krishna, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So spread the holy name of the Lord. And yeah, so that's the five. So he wants to kind of show us how to do that. So he's the most merciful incarnation, because instead of killing us, the demons, he only kills the little demons in the heart, which is really sweet to think about. Imagine like someone like offends you or does something like really vicious towards you, and you'd be like, I care for you so much, and I just like really want the ultimate best for you and for your heart to like soften, and I embrace you in love, and I give you like the holy name so you can go back to Godhead. Who thinks like that? If someone offends me, I'm like, I'm going to get you back, and make plans for it. So Lord Chaitanya, well, he has pastimes when he almost forgets, but that's why he has his associates to remind him. So yeah, so Lord Advaita is coming first to play the principal reason, to show how the Lord reciprocates with his devotees. So today morning before Japa, we were reading that big Lord Advaita. He actually learned a verse where he learned that the Lord cannot repay the debt to a devotee who is offering a tulasi leaves and water with love. Krishna doesn't know how to repay the debt if someone offers tulasi leaves and water to him. I thought we need to get tulasi today. So, how modest, that's the word, how modest Krishna is. There's just like, he owns everything. And again, like imagine like you go to Bill Gates, for example, and you want to bring him a gift. How pleased he will be with like, little flower. I don't know about Bill Gates, maybe he will be very pleased. But like in general, people who have like a lot, to please them, you have to give them like a lot more. Like my parents are relatively rich, and when my father wants to give a nice gift to my mother, he needs to buy a car or a big diamond ring, or it's just not that she will be pleased by, like a book for $20, right? Like, what love is that? So, So Krishna owns everything. So, you know, we would maybe think like, oh, if I give to Krishna like 20 universes, you know, maybe he will, but no, Krishna is so pleased with the tulasi leaves that he doesn't know how to repay the debt. So Lord Advaita Acharya learned that, and with that in mind, he decided to call for, well, he wanted to call for the Lord, but now he knows how. And it was written constantly he was offering tulasi leaves and water to the Lord, and was calling out loud his name and begging him to appear. Why? Because he had so much compassion for fallen conditioned souls. He was seeing like how fallen the people were, and right, you know, we have like the whole parampara, and there is like a gap, like it was kind of lost. It was all lost, and there was like so much, you know, misinterpretation, abuse, and misuse of the Vaishnav culture. It wasn't even existing at some places. So Lord Advaita was seeing that, and he thought like no one else but the Lord himself has the power to rectify this situation. So he's calling for the Lord out of compassion for us. So this is really interesting because Lord Chaitanya, he is Radha Krishna, and Lord Advaita, who knows who is Lord Advaita? A quiz question.
Any hands up there?
No hands up.
Vishnu.
Vishnu. Thank you, Anandini. Yes, he's a Vishnu. So that's really, I find it very interesting because Vishnu comes from Lord Balaram, right? So Lord Advaita is, you know, like kind of like the emanation thing, or, you know, I have no realization how that happens really, but from Balaram comes Lord Vishnu, and from Lord Vishnu comes Lord Advaita. And in the Panchatattva, we also have Lord Nityananda, who is Balaram himself. So I find it quite interesting. And yesterday I was sharing at the class the story of Arjuna going to save the children of the Brahmana. And it happened that Vishnu stole the children. It was Mahavishnu, right? Because they had to pierce through Mahavishnu. Because Mahavishnu wanted to see Krishna, you know? So Lord Advaita, this is Vishnu, Mahavishnu, no, or some other Vishnu.
No, he's Mahavishnu.
So he's again Mahavishnu, and he again wants to see Krishna. So, you know, there is some intricacies there too. Like, you know, it's quite unconceivable. From Krishna comes Balaram, from Balaram comes Vishnu, from Vishnu wants to see Krishna, then from Vishnu comes Lord Advaita, and he again wants to see Krishna. So it's like Balaram is like a naturally, he's called sometimes the God servant. So he's like naturally in that mood of service and love towards Krishna, and it's like a devotional mood. So he naturally wants to see Krishna. So I think that's all for our introduction. Are there any questions at this point? Okay. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Yes. So I just want to say one more thing before I go. It's just like really quite interesting how like Krishna is one, but then he like multiplies in many to like increase the enjoyment he has. And like my very vague understanding it is like the little spirit souls. They're like kind of like the same process of emanation as is Lord Balaram or Lord Vishnu, that we just don't have like all this or we don't have all the qualities of the Lord, and we have them in very small quantity. But the nature is so like visible how the nature of that is like all just being this like loving relationship exchanges together, and then obviously these expansions like that have full potency as Lord, like Lord Balaram. Lord Vishnu doesn't have a full anymore. They just get it. I never heard of an incarnation that would decide to like not serve Krishna. To not serve Krishna.
Incarnation serve Krishna.
Yeah, they don't. They are not like Balaram is not like, why am I like a second one, you know?
Ekhaleshwara Krishna Arasama Vricha. Hare Krishna. Krishna is the supreme controller, and everyone else is a servant, even Lord Balaram.
Yeah. So in that sense, Balaram is really like the one who gives us strength for devotional service. And then Lord Nityananda is the Adi Guru, the primal guru, like he comes to like show how to serve the Lord. And also Lord Advaita is like in the same way, like the original teacher, because he's showing us like how to serve the Lord. So they are like same personality, but like really different. Go understand it for yourself. And shall we continue where we stopped?
If you'd like.
Okay, so we are going to continue where we stop in the morning, and it will be Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 1.
That's actually that was my personal reading, which is the
sorry.
place to read. But
Here?
No, that it won't be about Advaita Charya once you go past there.
Oh, okay. So where shall I go?
I see you're asking me. Okay, well, why not? Read. Okay.
So wait a moment, please.
Hare Krishna. Hari. Oh, okay. Go to start with text 95 to 110.
Okay, so it's chapter 3, Adi Lila, and text 93?
95.
95. So 1:3:95 of Adi Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita. 1:3:95. Okay. Madhava Ishvara Puri Shachi Jagannatha Advaita Acharya Prakata Hoila Seisata Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri, Srimati Shachi Mata, and Shah Jagannath Mishra all appeared with Sri Advaita Acharya. Okay, so here is the line of the ancestors that Lord Chaitanya will meet as the seniors for his pastimes. Purport. Whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends in his human form, he sends ahead all his devotees who act as his father, teacher, and associates in many roles. Such personalities appear before the descent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Before the appearance of Lord Shri Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there appeared his devotees like Sri Madhavendra Puri, his spiritual master, Sri Ishvara Puri, his mother, Srimati Shachi Devi, his father, Sri Jagannath Mishra, and Sri Advaita Acharya. Prakatya Deke Acharya Sakala Samsara, Krishna Bhakti Gandahina Vishaya Vyavahara. Advaita Acharya having appeared, he found the world devoid of devotional service to Sri Krishna because people were engrossed in the material affairs. Keha pape, keha punye, kare vishaya boga, bhakti ganda nahiyate yaya bhavaroga. Everyone was engaged in material enjoyment, whether sinfully or virtuously. No one was interested in the transcendental service of the Lord, which can give total relief from the repetition of birth and death. Advaita Acharya saw the entire world to be engaged in activities of material piety and impiety, without a trace of devotional service or Krishna consciousness anywhere. The fact is that in this material world, there is no scarcity of anything except Krishna consciousness. Material necessities are supplied by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. We sometimes feel scarcity because of our mismanagement, but the real problem is that people are out of touch with Krishna consciousness. Everyone is engaged in material sense gratification, but people have no plan for making an ultimate solution to their real problems, namely birth, disease, old age, and death. These four material miseries are called Bhava Roga or material diseases. They can be cured only by Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Krishna consciousness is the greatest benediction for human society. It's like the verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that he descends whenever and wherever there is the decline of religious practices. I guess. Yeah. Yada yada hidaramasya. Probably.
Lani Bhavati Bharata, Bhutanam Dharasya, Tadatmanam Shujamya.
Yes. So millennium after millennium. So yeah, so this is happening now. 500. Well, it's happening now too, but that's why we have Shah Prabhupada here to take care for it as a Sakyavesh avatar. So whenever and wherever there is a decline of the religion, Krishna comes to take care of it. So that was it seems that in Kali Yuga it's more and more common situation. So yes, it's another advantage of to be participants in Kali Yuga that we get all these great personalities coming. Lokavati deki acharya karuna hridaya vichara karana lokera kaichehitahaya. Seeing the activities of the world, the Acharya felt compassion and began to ponder how he could act for the people's benefit. Report. This sort of serious interest in the welfare of the public makes one a bona fide Acharya. An Acharya does not exploit his followers. Since the Acharya is a confidential servitor of the Lord, his heart is always full of compassion for humanity in its suffering. He knows that all suffering is due to the absence of devotional service to the Lord, and therefore he always tries to find ways to change people's activities, making them favorable for the attainment of devotion. That is the qualification of an Acharya. Although Sri Advaita Prabhu himself was powerful enough to do the work, as a submissive servitor, he thought that without the personal appearance of the Lord, no one could improve the fallen condition of society. In the grim clutches of Maya, the first-class prisoners of this material world strongly think themselves happy because they are rich, powerful, resourceful, and so on. These foolish creatures do not know that they are nothing but play dolls in the hands of material nature, and that at any moment material nature's pitiless intrigues can crush to dust all their plans for godless activities. Such foolish prisoners cannot see that however they improve their position by artificial means, the calamities of repeated birth, death, disease, and old age are always beyond the jurisdiction of their control. Foolish as they are, they neglect these major problems of life and busy themselves with false things that cannot help them solve their real problems. They know that they do not want to suffer death or the pangs of disease and old age, but under the influence of the illusory energy, they are grossly negligent and therefore do nothing to solve the problems. This is called Maya. People held in the grip of Maya are thrown into oblivion after death, and as a result of their karma, in the next life they become gods, dogs or gods, although most of them become dogs.
It's a great line. Comic touch from Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, so just for those who didn't catch it, Shah Prabhupada says here that most of the people will become gods or dogs in their next life, and most of them dogs. That's clear. To become gods in the next life, they must engage in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of God. Otherwise, they are sure to become dogs or hogs in terms of the laws of nature. The third class prisoners, being less materially opulent than the first class prisoners, endeavor to imitate them, for they also have no information of the real nature of their imprisonment. Thus, they also are misled by the illusory material nature. The function of the Acharya, however, is changed to the activities of both the first class and third class prisoners for their real benefit. This endeavor makes him a very dear devotee of the Lord, Hare Krishna, who says clearly in Bhagavad Gita that no one in human society is dearer to him than a devotee who constantly engages in his service by finding ways to preach the message of Godhead for the real benefit of the world. The so-called acharyas of the age of Kali are more concerned with exploiting the resources of their followers than mitigating their miseries. But Sri Advaita Prabhu, as an ideal acharya, was concerned with improving the condition of the world situation. Yeah, so well, one thing, like this, like when we read about these like foolish prisoners who cannot even see the problems of life, I'm like, it's not me, right? Like we speak about these problems every day. So of course, I see them. But today I had 2 nightmares, and in one of them, all my family, I don't have it. It was like really far out. But in one of them, like I was on the lake and the ice broke, and I got like pulled under the ice. And I had all like the winter clothes, and it was like really heavy, dragging me like down, like, and I woke up like really. And then the next time my parents were flying in the balloon, and my sister was jumping with parachute, and she like fell on the balloon, and the balloon got flat, and they all like hit the ground. And I woke up again, like pondering, my heart pondering. I got the chocolate cake yesterday at Hladini Prabhu's home, so I'm thinking maybe there might be a connection. But anyway, you know what I did with it? In the morning, I thought to myself, well, it couldn't really happen. It's so it was right there, this principle, like, yeah, of course, like how that could happen, I guess the balloon, I thought to myself, the balloon is like, it really wouldn't get flat by my sister falling on it, because it's, the structure of it is like firm enough. And okay, if it happens to me that I get under the ice, I need to take the jacket off because it's heavy. I learned that in the dream. So it's just like fascinating how really like Maya so strongly is like convincing us, no, this is like a nice, nice, peaceful. I mean, I could go there, but if I do that, it doesn't inspire me to spiritual life. It inspires me to be depressed and miserable. So it's also like a psychological, like, okay, we need to like survive here. And that's why people do that. Like to constantly think like I can die the next moment can be very discouraging. And of course it should be encouraging for devotional life or, finding the solution, but not necessarily the psychology work that way. And then, there are people like a true, people, pure devotees, pure souls who are like truly seeing it. And they don't need to do this bypass, it wouldn't happen. Or if it wouldn't happen to me, they just like really, they like just like piercefully see through that like all the time. And people like me must seem completely crazy, like how you can even think that it wouldn't happen. And I'm like, well, it kind of works for me to think it wouldn't happen. So they really like see the craziness and the pain of that. Like, if you see a little child running on, it's running towards the highway or it's running towards the hot stove, like you will run and like, grab it and save it. So that's how these pure acharyas are feeling towards us. Like this, like, like silly little children who are like doing all sorts of crazy things and they are going to hurt themselves. I imagine they're like, Krishna, why do you give them so much free will? This is crazy, like we really need to like protect these like, intelligent, less foolish. Prabhupada likes to use the word foolish rascals, living entities that just like, they are not knowing that they are about to touch the hot stove, or they actually have their hand already on it and it's burning, and they are still like, well, I guess I'm fine, just like, I guess there is some smell, but it's so Advaita Acharya, he's and how much space, then, like, we spend so much energy to pretend it's not there, how much space we have, like, to care about others or feel compassion about others. Like, mostly we don't even want to see the suffering of others, right? Because, like, I don't want to have, like, anything together with this is too heavy, or, reinforcing the belief system, it can happen to them, but not to me. Like, statistically speaking, if it happened to them, I have higher chance it will not happen to me. Like, I don't know, maybe 20% of people get cancer. So if it happened to them, my chance, whatever, it's just like completely perverted psychology. Like, I'm saying, like, how much space for the samashukaduki, when, I am happy when you suffer, dukkha is misery and shukkha is happiness. So how much space is there really to care? And I experience it in my heart. Like, I do like not a lot of, but I do some sharing of Krishna consciousness, but my inspiration, like, is not to save others, it's like to save me, because if I do that, it will probably give me some good credits, or, at the best, like, please share Prabhupada, but more like maybe get appreciation from others. But like that, I would like really like sincerely feel like, wow, we are suffering, and like my heart has so much pain to see that, and I want to like do something about it. Like, not really. I don't, and because I'm so blunt, I don't even see the suffering. I could imagine myself to go, let's say, to the slaughterhouse and say like, hey, don't do this, it's painful for you. Because at least like but let's say like my brother, he's happy, he's doing well, materially, in all ways. And like, there is nothing in me that feels like I need to save this guy, So the emotion, the emotion that is moving them is really like fatherly, motherly. That's the closest in this world that we can actually have that experience as father and mother towards their child, of that, it's like a glimpse of that love, and like, I really want to protect this person and save them from, so they have it all towards all of us, because, well, Krishna has it towards all of us, and his purely represent Krishna also in this feeling towards us. So imagine he was like feeling compassion, and then he was like really trying to think how he could act for the people's benefit. So any discussion at this point? Okay, so we will read a little more. Apani Shri. Now we are at 99 for those who follow. Apani Shri Krishna Yadi Karena Avatara. Apane Achari Bhakti Karena Prachara. If Shri Krishna were to appear as an incarnation, he himself would preach devotion by his personal example. Nama vinu kalikale dharmanahi ara, kalikale kaichehave Krishna avatara. In this age of Kali, there is no religion other than the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. But how in this age will the Lord appear as an incarnation? Shudabhave Kariba Krishnera Aradhana Nirantara Sadainye Kariba Nivedana. I shall worship Krishna in a purified state of mind. I shall constantly petition him in humbleness. Aniya Krishnere Karam Kirtana Sanchara Tabese Advaita Nama Sampala Amara. My name, Advaita, will be fitting if I am able to induce Krishna to inaugurate the movement of the chanting of the holy name. I will read this again. My name Advaita will be fitting if I am able to induce Krishna to inaugurate the movement of the chanting of the holy name. What does Advaita mean?
It means non-dual.
Advaita means non-dual, non-dual for those who didn't hear.
Like we can see the English word duo, two, couple, duo. Hare Krishna. You can see the English word duo, dual, two. So Dvaita means dualism, and Advaita is non-dualism. And so, of course, it's not the Mayavad version of radical non-dualism, but it's non-dualism that there's everything is Krishna's energy, so there's oneness. And we our Vaishnava oneness is that we align all our desires with Krishna's desires. We use our free will in that way, and that this, of course, so there's diversity and there's variety, all on the foundation of everything's Krishna's energies. So, Advaita, not.
Okay, thank you. So, why do you think it relates? My name Advaita will be fitting if I am able to induce Krishna to inaugurate the movement.
Let's see what Prabhupada says in his purport.
Okay.
You can, yeah.
The non-dualist Mayavadi philosopher who falsely believes that he is non-different from the Lord is unable to call him like Advaita Prabhu. Advaita Prabhu is non-different from the Lord, yet in his relationship with the Lord, he does not merge in him, but eternally renders service unto him as a plenary portion. This is inconceivable for Mayavadis because they think in terms of mundane sense perception, and therefore think that non-dualism necessitates losing one's. Non-dualism necessitates losing one's separate identity. I will read it again because I kind of read it wrong. This is inconceivable for Mayavadis because they think in terms of mundane sense perception and therefore think that non-dualism necessitates losing one's separate identity. It is clear from this verse, however, that Advaita Prabhu, although retaining his separate identity, is non-different from the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached the philosophy of inconceivable simultaneous oneness with the Lord and difference from him. Conceivable dualism and monism are conceptions of the imperfect senses, which are unable to reach the transcendence because the transcendence is beyond the conception of limited potency. The actions of Sri Advaita Prabhu, however, give tangible proof of inconceivable non-dualism. One who therefore surrenders unto Sri Advaita Prabhu can easily follow the philosophy of inconceivable simultaneous dualism and monism. Okay, so he's like Lord Advaita is like manifesting that he's like simultaneously same and different from Krishna because he has the power to call for Krishna, so like himself calling for himself, but also he's doing it. He's not like he could spread the holy name himself.
Yeah.
So he's like also showing, but there is a difference between the two of us. So that's how would you understand it?
At least one way that makes sense to me.
Okay. So any comments at this point of our reading? Okay, I'll read a little more. While he was thinking about how to propitiate, thank you.
To call for.
While he was thinking how to propitiate Krishna by worship, the following verse came to his mind. Tulasi dala matrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite svam atmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsala. Shri Krishna, who is very affectionate toward his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers merely a tulasi leaf and a palmful of water. This is a verse from the Gautamya Tantra. So if you want to buy Krishna, now we are going into how to do it. Advaita Acharya considered the meaning of the verse in this way. Not finding any way to repay the debt he owes to one who offers him a tulasi leaf and water, Lord Krishna thinks, there is no wealth in my possession that is equal to a tulasi leaf and water. Krishna thinks that. Tabe atma vechikare nera sodhana etabhavi acharya karena aradhana. Thus the Lord liquidates the debt by offering his own self to the devotee. Considering this, the acharya began worshipping the Lord. Purport. Through devotional service, one can easily please Lord Krishna with a leaf of the tulasi plant and a little water. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:26, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or some water, patram pushpam palam toyam, when offered with devotion, very much pleases him. He universally accepts the services of his devotees. Even the poorest of devotees in any part of the world can secure a small flower, fruit, or a leaf, and a little water. And if these offerings, and especially tulasi leaves and Ganges water, are offered to Krishna with devotion, he is very satisfied. It is said that Krishna is so pleased by such devotional service that he offers himself to his devotee in exchange for it. Sri Advaita Acharya knew this fact, and therefore he dedicated to call for the personality of Godhead Krishna to descend by worshipping the Lord with tulasi leaves and the water of the Ganges. So, what came to mind is the gopis. They serve Krishna. Also cannot repay the debt of the gopis who are serving him with love and devotion. But to them, Krishna doesn't sell himself. He tells them, well, let your service be your reward. So it's not that the deal is always the same with everyone, but here Krishna, yeah, in this Gautamya Tantra, it says that he will sell himself for the tulasi leaf. So, yeah. It's good to know the scriptures, you know. Ganga Jala Tulasi Manjari Anukshana Krishna Pada Padma Bhavi Kare Samarpana. Thinking of the lotus feet of Shri Krishna, he constantly offered tulasi baths in water from the Ganges. Krishnera Ahvana Kare Karya Hunkara Emate Krishnere Karaya Avatara. He appeared to Shri Krishna with loud calls and thus made it possible for Krishna to appear. Chaitanyera avatare e mukya hetu, bhaktera ichaya avatare dharma setu. Therefore, the principal reason for Sri Chaitanya's descent is this appeal by Advaita Acharya. The Lord, the protector of religion, appears by the desire of his devotee. I will read the sentence again. The Lord, the protector of religion, appears by desire of his devotee. I heard the story, and I'm not sure if it's Prabhupada's story, but I think it's aligned. It's a beautiful story. And there was a devotee. I'm not sure if Lord Chaitanya or Lord, I think it was a devotee of Rama, and it was like a single lady. Maybe she was a widow. I'm not sure who she was. And she was in this consciousness of like the Lord appears by the desire of his devotees, and so she lived her whole life like if Krishna would be coming the next moment. I think it was Lord Rama. So Rama coming the next moment. So she would always take care of her body very nicely. So she, was clean and, nice fragrant and cleanly dressed. And the house would be like, very clean. Like if you are expecting a very important guest, the house would be very clean and it would be always like a nice preparation cooked. And that's the way how she spent her life, like waiting for the Lord to come. So I find it a beautiful story. Hare Krishna, Bhakti Saraswati, welcome. So Lord Advaita Acharya is like also like having that full faith, that just by that the desire, that longing is so attractive for Krishna that he cannot resist, and he will come. Okay. Oh my Lord, you always dwell in the vision and hearing of your pure devotees. You also live in their lotus-like hearts, which are purified by devotional service. Oh my Lord, who are glorified by exalted prayers, you show special favor to your devotees by manifesting yourself in the eternal forms in which they welcome you. Purport. This text from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.9.11 is a prayer by Lord Brahma to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna for his blessings in the work of creation. Knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be understood from the descriptions of the Vedic scriptures. For example, the Brahma Samhita describes that in the abode of Lord Krishna, which is made of Chintamani, touchstone, the Lord, acting as a coward boy, is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. Mayavadis think that the devotees have imagined the form of Krishna, but the authentic Vedic scriptures have actually described Krishna and his various transcendental forms. The word Shruta in Shrute Kshita Pata refers to the Vedas, and Ikshita indicates that the way to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead is by proper study of the Vedic scriptures. One cannot imagine something about God or his form. Such imagination is not accepted by those who are serious about enlightenment. Here Brahma says that one can know Krishna through the path of properly understanding the Vedic texts. If by studying the form, name, qualities, pastimes, and paraphernalia of the Supreme Godhead, one is attached to the Lord, he can execute devotional service, and the form of the Lord will be impressed in their heart and remain transcendently situated there. Unless a devotee actually develops transcendental love for the Lord, it is not possible for him to think always of the Lord within his heart. I will read this sentence again. Unless a devotee actually develops transcendental love for the Lord, it is not possible for him to think always of the Lord within his heart. Such constant thought of the Lord is the sublime perfection of the yogic process, as Bhagavad Gita confirms in the 6th chapter, stating that anyone absorbed in such thought is best of all yogis. Such transcendental absorption is known as samadhi. A pure devotee who is always thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the person qualified to see the Lord. One cannot speak of Uru Gaya, the Lord who is glorified by sublime prayers, unless one is transcendently elevated. The Lord has innumerable forms, as the Brahma Samhita confirms, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. The Lord expends himself in innumerable Svamsha forms. When the devotee hearing about these innumerable forms becomes attached to one and always thinks of him, the Lord appears to him in that form. Lord Krishna is especially pleasing to devotees for whom he is always present in the heart because of their highly elevated transcendental love. So 112, there is just very few verses before ending this chapter. Eishlokera artakahi sankshapera sara bhaktera ichaya krishnera sarva avatara. The essence of the meaning of this verse is that Lord Krishna appears in all his innumerable eternal forms because of the desires of his pure devotees. Chaturha shlokera arta hoila sunitshite avatirna hoila gora prema prakashite. Thus I have surely determined the meaning of the 4th verse. Lord Gauranga, Lord Chaitanya, appeared as an incarnation to preach unalloyed love of God. Shri Rupa Guna Tapadeyar Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita describing the causes for the descent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. So I didn't know that so Lord Chaitanya is actually like reciprocating to appear in the form that's like really suitable for Lord Advaita's desire. Like Lord Advaita is desiring to relieve the conditioned souls from the suffering, and he's desiring the holy name to be spread. So it's like a perfect match for Lord Chaitanya to come. You know, it's not like Lord Nrsimhadev coming and killing everyone, or Lord, you know, even like Lord Krishna himself to play in Vrindavan with the gopis. It's just like, so yeah, Krishna has 16,108 wives, and with all of them, he's like a different, he's like manifesting himself differently. I don't think it works in such a way that like I can like create any mental concoction of how I would like God to be and then relate with him this way. But there is unlimited opportunities how the Lord actually really is. And then my understanding is at certain stage of advancement, the devotees start to more and more understand what's their particular rasa inclination in that relationship with Krishna. And then when the attachment develops and the desire for the Lord develops, then Krishna appears in that form. So I am complete with reading. So are there any comments now? Okay, no hands raised.
You can just announce the program for the rest of the day. So we have a Hare Krishna, another devotional program honoring Sri Advaita Acharya, starting at 10:30 here at my home ashram and online. And kirtan, and around 11 o'clock. We'll have a discussion about the philosophy and pastimes related to Sri Advaita Acharya, and then prasadam offering around somewhere noon, 12:30, and then maybe more kirtan. So so another reading and discussion around starting around 11 o'clock Eastern today. And so it's just a special day to immerse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, pastimes and teachings of Sri Advaita Acharya. There are many places. Hladini Shakti read from chapter 3 of the Adi Leela, which is really about the external reasons. External does not mean shallow. The external reasons of the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, and a major one is to reciprocate with his devotees like Sri Advaita Acharya and Sri Haridas Thakur. And then chapter 12 of the Adi Leela, it's about the disciplic descendants of Sri Advaita Acharya, including his biological sons. And towards the end of the chapter 12, there's the pastime of Kamalakanta Vishvas, who Lord Chaitanya chastised him because he had some incorrect conception about Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya got really angry at Lord Chaitanya because you chastise Kamalakanta Vishvas. That means you love him and you don't love me because you're always nice to me and praising me like I'm your senior. And then so Advaita Acharya started really preaching Mayavad philosophy to get Lord Chaitanya angry. Then Lord Chaitanya actually he got really angry at Advaita Acharya. And then it is, oh, you do love me. Like that. So there's all sorts of wonderful pastimes. These are just a few. Bhakti and Danielle. Danielle, I'm sorry.
Hi, Krishna. I just wanted to express appreciation for your reading in class today and sharing your realizations. And my hairs were standing up on my arms when we were reading. I was feeling like a lot of mercy for having everyone's association and for remembering the glories and the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and his associates, particularly Lord Advaita Acharya. I was really thinking this morning because we were reading in the Mangala Arti program about some of these things, Anasuya Devidasi, she gave some insights in the same kind of chapters. And we were reading also from, I think, On Chanting Hare Krishna, I think that book also. And it's interesting because there's a little bit of a dichotomy that between the two things, because one of the things that, is being expressed is the Lord can be, his love can be purchased with just some water and tulasi leaf. And then also Srila Prabhupada was being really stern in some of his lectures about how we shouldn't think cheaply of Krishna. Like we shouldn't like imagine him being cheaply. And so I could see that being conflicting, but in my heart, or at least in my perspective, I'm seeing it as, non-different, because Krishna wants us as, more than even that we want him. And so if we offer him a little sincerity, for us, it seems like a huge problem. Like for us, it's a huge deal to offer a little sincerity, right? Like just a little flour or just a little water. And so when we're talking about doing tapasya, Prabhupada was like, Haridas Kapoor, he chanted like 300,000 rounds, like mantras. And us, like, in America, he's like, well, you guys, you can't even do the 25 that are recommended as minimum in India. And so here we are, we're doing a little bit of service, and Krishna's really reciprocating like so much with us. And it's not cheap. I feel like it's really about the level of sincerity and the devotion. And I'm feeling so much inspiration from understanding what it means to be a real friend, what it means to like you were talking about relaying about your brother and how you really understand, like there can be coverings or limitations, that we really want to work through, and that these pure devotees are just like always in the sublime consciousness of being everyone's well-wisher, everyone's best friend, doing so much tapasya. It might look like just offering a little water and a little flower leaf, and you're like, wait, how can that work? What's really happening there? And then there's so much, unfolding in the heart that we can't see internally, and how important it is to be non-judgmental and to not try to artificially think that we know better than what someone else is doing. There's a lot of opportunity to really, I think, spend time with the acharyas in our line, the associates of Lord Krishna, the associates of Lord Chaitanya, and learn from them. Like, that's the point, right? Learning from their example to see, like, what does it mean to be a human? How do we act? How are we being human? What does it mean to be a human? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhakti Daniel. I appreciate the balance that you are bringing to the discussion. And one thing that comes to mind is from Yashodanandana's story, where Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna doesn't see what you give, but what you keep for yourself. And there are stories, I could go to about that. And then, like, tulasi is not a cheap thing. I think we also like need to understand that, the tulasi is pure devotee, and that actually we have like even like now in Vrindavan, which really Van means forest and Vrinda means tulasi. And my understanding is that even at the 70s, the devotees were coming to Vrindavan, and it was a forest of the tulasi bushes, basically. There is no tulasi anymore. Actually, the climate changed so much that there is no wild growing tulasis in Vrindavan. So it's it's like a special mercy that we even get in contact with tulasi, to have her association, to be able to serve her, and not least be able to offer her leaves to Krishna. So she's she's not like a flower. But of course, the verse Pashpam Putram Palam Toyam is saying also a flower. Hare Krishna. Okay. So please join us later today. Shri Advaita Acharya ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.